The ongoing NFL draft is giving tons of prospects and potential superstars, potential Hall of Famers, to this season's 2016-2017 NFL season. There's quarterbacks going, there's running backs going, defenders. Oh God, that's too much world football in my book. Defensive ends and linebackers and kickers and punters and everything. But don't forget those who don't get drafted, because Yahoo Sports put together the all-time undrafted NFL team. And if this were a team in today's NFL, you can bet your ass they'd be getting to the Super Bowl. Maybe a championship game, NFC or AFC championship game. I think this team's good enough to make the Super Bowl. Let's take a look. We're going to start with the offense up top because, if you remember how great Priest Holmes was as a Chiefs running back, dominant in the early 2000s. Tony Romo, if he stays healthy with the injuries, is obviously capable. Wes Welker, if he knows left from right. After all the concussions.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Rod Smith, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL in the late 90s with the Denver Broncos. Joe Perry with the throwback to Ben Mankiewicz's birth year, 1948, the 49ers and the Colts. It's a hell of a stacked team, but it only gets better because when we go up, you have one of the all-time greatest tight ends, if we go to the next card, in Antonio Gates, up there on the list for most touchdown catches and receiving yards by a tight end, and just constant for 13 years. Yeah. And just always stayed healthy, always stayed on the field.
Remained with the one franchise as well. Good on them.
But
Chargers.
Let's not forget how important the offensive line is. As they say, the trenches. You're not in the trenches every day. You don't know what it's like to block those 350-pound backs, Francis, do you?
I don't know. I never will know.
I don't know.
You weigh like 140 and I blocked you once.
Well, Larry Little was one of the best at offensive lining. And of course, I'm missing out on some of these guys because I wasn't really I remember watching tape of Larry Little. I remember watching tape of Mick Tingelhoff. Not really, but in general, these are all unbelievable players. Jason Peters as well on the offensive line. Francis, we're going to go to the defense, and there's some fantastic nicknames on this defense, and your job is to tell me what your favorite one is.
Oh, okay.
So first of all, defensive tackle John Randall, good. Cameron Wake, more recent. That's a great example of a recent undrafted player from a time where I know like 2009, 2010, 2011 NFL drafts were some of the best NFL drafts in history. And Wake came out of that undrafted and is a starting defensive end for the Miami Dolphins. Gene Big Daddy Lipscomb.
Big Daddy is a great nickname.
Your analysis is just fantastic.
That's it. When you're one of the original, I would say, players to define your position, you get the name Big Daddy because someone who's coming in may be amazing in the recent times, but he doesn't get to be called Big Daddy because there's already a Big Daddy. You can be called Little Daddy or Baby Daddy.
Puff Daddy.
Baby Daddy.
P. Diddy.
P. Diddy. Whatever, but when you're original and you define that position, you get the Big Daddy. You get the Big Daddy-o.
You're crushing it right now. All right, let's go back to that card because there's a guy on this list that does not like participation. Which one is that, Francis? I know you know this.
James Harrison.
Yeah. Took away his kids' participation awards. One of the best linebackers in Steelers history amongst great linebackers, future Hall of Famer for sure. Let's go to the bottom of the list because it involves Dick Night Train Lane, who is amongst some of the top. He's on the top of the charts for interceptions and defensive touchdowns. Unbelievable player because he gets compared to all these shutdown corners now. They're like, this is the next coming to Dick Night Train Lane. And you might think I'm joking when I say that, but I've heard that on ESPN and the NFL Network so many times. That's why I mention it. London Fletcher was very competent linebacker for the Washington Reds. I remember as a Redskins player. And then there's a lot of classics on there. Willie Wood and Willie Brown. And Sam Mills, I actually don't remember too much either, but linebacker for the Saints and the Panthers. But we can't forget about special teams, Francis, because special teams are, for lack of better words, nailed it. It includes one of the most clutch kickers of all time, and that is 3, 2, 1. Adam Vinatieri. All the Patriots Super Bowls except for the one in 2014. 15 was this year, 16. All the Patriots Super Bowls minus their most recent Super Bowl came on the leg of Adam Vinatieri. They won it as the game was coming to an end because he was clutch. Sean Landeta, who played for just about every team in the NFL, as the punter. But what's the point of this? The point of this is that we put so much emphasis, right, on the NFL draft in America. It is, people forget, it was only about 8-9 years ago that it became a primetime event. Before that, it was Saturday, I think at 12, like noon. And I don't know anybody who's sitting inside on Saturday, 12 noon, if you don't work for the NFL or you're just the most diehard NFL fan of all time, that you're sitting there going like, wake up the kids, hun. We got to get the no Saturday morning cartoons. Daddy's watching the NFL draft.
Yeah. It's such a spectacle. Everything is, but again, it emphasizes the love of stats. break down this guy's 40, while he's 30, while he's 20, with his jump, with his reach, with his throw, with his fingernail length. Killing it. Longest fingernails in the NFL draft. That's what it's like, and it's so funny, though. It's amazing to me to watch it. And I love watching it, by the way. I mean, who doesn't like watching the NFL draft when a guy's wiener pops out when he's running?
Well, that clip, by the way, you guys are all sick human beings.
On that clip.
Because we did 2 NFL draft combine clips this year, I'm very sure. One of which I think had to do with Odell Beckham Jr.'s cousin. The other had to do with a guy whose dick fell out during the 40-yard dash. And all of you clicked on the wiener popping out incident. Just go watch Game of Thrones. There's wieners everywhere.
But it's a good discussion to have, because I love the system here, by the way. In all seriousness, I think the system works great in terms of the draft. In terms of the college athletes being able to work through, you produce a lot of great athletes. But it's also encouraging to show that there's probably a few guys out there, maybe someone are watching TYT Sports and thinking, damn, I don't know if I can go to the draft. There is still opportunities in which you can showcase your stuff and break through that huge amount of people that are trying to make it and go on to achieve great things. One of the best players and success stories as of recent, how many times was Damian Lillard told no? And he played in the D-Leagues.
That's a good point.
As well, and now he's playing phenomenally well.
Out of Weber State. He was drafted in the NBA draft.
He was, same thing.
But this is an interesting stat. They said at the start of the 2015 NFL season, 35% of the 53-man rosters were undrafted players. 35%. Now, again, you're going to see like the number 1 overall pick, Jared Goff, I'm pretty sure it will be. Actually, it already happened because this clip's already up. So it was Jared Goff or Carson Wentz. We're shooting this before the clip goes up on Saturday, just so everyone knows. But just, I mean, it's a quarterback, and you put so much emphasis on that. And then you're going to see guys like DeForest Buckner get taken. But just because that's a top 10 pick doesn't mean someone that's undrafted can become the likes of a John Randall, of a Cameron Wake, of a Big Daddy Lipscomb, of a James Harrison. Yeah. So you see that, I mean, this is also a small, I mean, if 35% of the 53-man rosters were undrafted, this is the absolute best of the best when it comes to the undrafted team. But you never know, there's always gems somewhere underneath all those.
And those gems,
all those stats, underneath all those combines, underneath all
those fingernails.
All those fingernails. Tom Brady had a terrible combine. He turned out all right.
All right.
What do you think about this year's 2016 NFL Draft? What do you think about the undrafted players that will be coming in? Make your predictions below on who won the NFL Draft and whose team will be best going into the 2016-2017 NFL season. At Francis Maxwell on Twitter. No, that's not him. At Francis_Maxwell on Twitter.
Dare you, Clint?
At Francis Maxwell Host on Instagram. At Clint Brown on Twitter.
I love the commenters. I love the TYT Sports Army. TYT Spawn Me.
Ew.